I am going to show you how I do a really simple, easy makeup look for when I'm out of time or running late or need to get ready really quick. So I've already applied my foundation, Becca Smashbox Under Eye Highlighter. And I applied my foundation to my eyelids. So you guys are caught up now and you can see it's in my hair. So this is the Makeup by Mario called Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick. And this is the shade Dark. And it's pretty dark, but I like to go, like people say 2 shades, I go 4 or 5. Because that's how I like it to look. So I'm going to take this stick and I am going to paint it onto this forehead of mine that we can land a 747 on. I want to diminish this baby just a little bit, so maybe we can land a little prop pellet plane on it, but not a 747. So then I'm going to make sure where my jawbone is, and I am going to carve that out and connect those lines. Same thing over here, like so. I'm going to paint down my nose because we don't want to look like Snuffleupagus. I'm going to be snatched. Now I'm going to paint just a little bit under my lip there. My bottom lip is bigger than my top if you saw my lip tutorial I did a few days ago. But I like this to bring out that bottom lip. So as you can see, I have a jaw line, but I also have jowls. And this wants to go up right here as this protrudes out. So I am going to follow underside of my chin. You don't want to be on the side, and draw that line. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to paint the outer corner of my eyelid, and I'm going to tap and bring it over. So it looks super messy, but hey, when it's done, we'll clean it all up and it will be beautiful. What I'm going to use to blend all this out is Kat Von D's foundation brush. It is tapered in like this, and I feel like it works really well for blending out my contour. So I'm going to stipple like on a game, you know. It just keeps firing little like fire pellets of Mario Brothers. And then I'm going to just kind of tap and lightly buff this back into my hairline so I don't have this line. I have this one over here. And sometimes, because I'm a little thinner, I will even dust it into my hair just to create a little bit of thickness there. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. And now I've got this really starched line in front. So I don't want to stipple, cover that little spot up. I want to brush forward. I want to diffuse. I want to make this line blend in to my face and not have such a harshness. So I'm going to take that and do that and see how that changed that. Okay, we're going. We got to contour out these cheeks because we're very round right now, and create a little bit of depth. So the depth, I said depth. The difference between contour and bronzer is this would be contour. We're trying to create shape on the face. A bronzer is going to add warmth. Usually bronzers are used photo shoots, summertime, when we've all got that pasty white skin from winter, or me that's got it all the time, and we want to add a little bit of warmth and color to our face. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to use my Scott Barnes number 61. This is an eye fan brush, but I like it to contour my nose. And so I'm going to do strokes to blend this up towards my brow. So I'm creating that whole shape that goes from my nose up into my brows. And then I'm going to tap along where I want the line to be on the center to diffuse it but not diminish it completely. And then on the sides, I'm going to buff that harsh line down. I'm going to make sure I get the bottom of my nose so we don't have dark and then complete white. And it looks like I have made my nose slightly crooked. You can do that in contour, in case you didn't know. I'm going to buff out that bottom lip area, and then I'm going to take this line, and yeah, I drew it all the way back to my ear because again, you're following the flow of your face. If you stop this here, then you're going to leave this weird gap. So follow it all the way back to behind your ear. Same on this side. I'm going to leave that for right now because I'm going to move on to this, and I'm going to stipple. That game sound, you know. And we're going to basically just kind of slightly buff this out. I'm not going to make it super clean. I'm not going to make it super pretty. It's still going to be a little harsh because I want it to be color that is there when I put my powder on and not diminish too much by blending. So I will buff out those upper edges just to make sure. And it looks something a little like this. So you're thinking, what are you doing with this line here? So I'm going to go back in with the KVD brush and I'm going to dust along this line to diffuse it just a little bit more. So it's still there, but it's not as harsh. And then I'm going to lightly blend down. I don't want to blend up because I'm not trying to diminish the chin. I'm just trying to create the jawline to be more defined than it is with my jowl. So once we kind of got, it's not going to be perfect. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm a messy painter. So I'm a messy makeup artist. I'm going to take the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish concealer. This is in L1 because we are white. And I'm going to tap that and apply it there. And then I am going to drag it down just a little bit. And same thing on the other side. It's about time for me to get a new one of these because it's getting low. But I am going to start drawing this line down my nose, and I'm going to try to make it as straight as possible. Because again, I don't want to have that crooked nose. So when I think I've got something I can work with, then I'm going to paint the concealer up there. So then on the bottom here, I'm going to paint concealer along this line and on the underside of this line, so I don't have dark blending out into my neck. Once I've got that laid down, I'm going to my Morphe blender and I'm going to start diffusing this line. So I'm going to clean up that contour line and I'm going to pat the concealer line and the contour line together because I want to diffuse the harsh lines but leave a little bit of a shadow. Something along those lines. And then I will take this and I will use it to blend out my forehead and just buff those two lines together and marry all of them. Then finally, I will take a tiny Ulta Beauty blender and I will blend out my under eye. Oftentimes, I have enough that I can blend this inner corner of my eye. I pick up enough product on it. But I'm going to show you a really cool trick. If you take your concealer and you put it right here, like so, and you look up and kind of do an angry face, look at that. There is a shape that you can blend up to cut your crease. So it looks a little something like that. So see the difference between the two? One's a little higher, probably a little more pronounced because there's more product on it. And that. So then I'm just going to finish this other eye over here. Now that I've shown you that, I'm going to blend. And if I get down towards the bottom here, I can always pick up my bigger blender and make sure this is blended well. So I'm going to take my tiny beauty blender and I'm going to tap and try to blend out that line from the concealer. I'm looking in my side mirror because I can't see very well in the phone. Something like that. And then I will add just a little bit to that Cupid's bow, like so. So then I'm going to add blush. This is Latte by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is their blush stick, and I think these are phenomenal. They are so pigmented. Like, look at that. Ooh. Ooh. To blend out the blush, I'm going to be using this Real Techniques. This is a cream blush, I think is what it's called, or blush brush. And I'm just going to tap. I don't want to swipe until I kind of get down, and I want to make sure I marry the bronzer and the blush together. And then to just make sure that this line right here is nice and soft, I'm going to take my Beauty Blender over it. So I have hooded eyes, so I just want to make sure that my eyes aren't super mega creased, because then I'm going to be trying out the LEJ Beauty Brighten powder. This is a pink pressed powder. It comes in a little compact with a sponge. I'm going to be using my Jaclyn Hill JH07 brush. It's a tiny brush, and I feel like it just works for this under eye. Oh my, look at that. That is, like, you see this, right? Holy crap. Okay, well, because I want this to be light, I'm going to put that right here where we put that concealer. I think that's beautiful. That is just a beautiful. We're going to pat. Oh my gosh, I think I want this on my nose right here too. And here. Like, look at that. Okay, we're going to stop playing with that one because it's like, you see how it just lightened up that under eye. Okay, so we're going to take the LEJ Beauty Translucent Setting Powder. Scott Barnes number 67. I'm going to, it's a big fluffy brush. I'm going to tap and pat off the excess, and then I'm going to start buffing. And I do cover the eyes and the side of the nose. If I feel like I need a little bit more product to finish the face, then I will just buff that. And make sure I buff down onto my neck. And then I have a pretty simple, basic brown look going on. So I'm just going to take any brown. This one is the Scott Barnes Byron Bay from the Australia palette. And I'm going to dust this on my bottom lash line because I want to create depth around my eyes. And I've got blue eyes, so brown always looks good, right? Then I'm going to take a Morphe E36 and I'm going to pick up Bricky from that same palette, and I am going to dust that on the lower lash line to create just more depth. This is a darker brown. I can even take this Bricky and I can apply it here to the outer corner if I want to darken up with the contour. So again, I'm just going to lightly dust this on that lower lash line, and I'm going to add just a little bit to this outer corner here. Buff, 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 and deepen up. And I can even take this over just a tiny, tiny bit. So I've got like the darker, and it goes into the lighter, and then I have the brow bone that is highlighted. There is a, well, this palette comes with a brush and like a highlighter, and so I'm going to use the highlighter Gold Coast, and I'm going to pick it up on my finger, and I'm going to lightly pat that into that inner corner. So that just takes it from a matte look to a little bit elevated nighttime, put a little more effort into it look. All right, so then, and that is a wrap. And this is how it turns out. Very natural, very beautiful. Added some lipstick, some mascara, some eyeliner, and some false mascara lashes. And some brows, of course. Like, follow for more. Comment below, what do you think? Will you try this?